Hey, fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Your August tarot reading is ready. I'm Eleanor. Welcome to Pink Pearl Tarot. Welcome if you're new, and if you're not, really quick, yes, I have consolidated the readings into element, so there's going to be 4 videos instead of 12 each month. It's just an experiment for the time while I am working 50 hours a week. So here we go. Your theme for August is the bee, representing work. So this is a time during which you are likely very goal focused and taking pursuit of that goal very seriously. You might be prioritizing a certain outcome or that you're trying to achieve, and you're being very persistent. You're summoning your perseverance and dedicated effort, and you are likely very near your success. So this is a positive sign that you'll be rewarded. Now this card does bring a reminder about what they say about all work and no play, right? That overdoing it can drain you of your passion. Now for this deck, the guidebook, it includes correspondences, so this is associated with the element of fire. And the flora that go with it are amaryllis, amber, cowslip, and mace. And stones would be citrine, fluorite, sodalite, and amazonite, if that's something you're into. So anyway, usually these readings are general and they could apply to whatever area of life, is indicated in the cards. But with this coming out as your overall theme, it is highly likely, although not 100%, that a lot of what comes out here is going to be career or job related, or at least vocation related. So I have pulled a work affirmator for each sign individually. That's the one part that is going to be personalized. So for Aries, you have filling the well. Feeling like your brain could use a tiny jump start or a medical transplant, it might be time to take a break and go explore some completely unrelated territory for a few days. Wells can only provide so much water before they dry up, and brains are the same way. Regardless, your brain could use a kick in the brain pants, so step away from your routine and head to the nearest museum, park, concert, or chowder cook-off. Do it now. Hurry before your boss sees you climbing out the window. So Aries, I know sometimes it seems like when you're working hard towards something that it seems like delaying any and all gratification is the only way you'll ever get there, that any breaks taken are going to set you back from your timeline, or that anything that breaks the grind will deflate your progress. Let all the heat out of the oven, as they say. But this is a reminder that taking that philosophy to an extreme is a fast track to burnout. Like, to use a road trip as a metaphor, sure, you would get to your destination faster if you never stop for fuel, in theory, but what's really going to happen is you're going to run out of gas and you'll never get there at all. So this is your kind of like your low fuel light coming on. All right, so for Leo, you have fulfillment. It says, I set my sights on a totally fulfilling life and will settle for nothing less. Jobs are like relationships, and I can always choose to break up and move on, knowing that something more satisfying and blissful is around the corner. It must be, right? Because I've looked everywhere, and how many places can bliss and satisfaction possibly be hiding? So Leo, yours is more about reassessing your goal, and as you draw nearer to it, do you still feel like it will return to you what you're investing in it? It's just a gentle reminder to routinely check in with yourself that your energy is well placed. And it's also saying that it's okay to change your mind at any time, and that there's no such thing as wasted energy. Even if you do pivot, the experience does have a lot of value, and like all of your experiences do. All right, so fix that. And Sagittarius, you have balance. Burning the candle at both ends, that might give you double the ambiance and twice the scent of ylang ylang, but you can't keep up that kind of energy evaporation for long. This card is reminding you to sprinkle some balance into your work-life recipe. When's the last time you ate a good meal, spent time with old friends, set foot outside? If you're working so hard your tank is empty, then you're not really doing your job any favors. So take a moment to stop and smell the ylang ylang. Your full-time sanity will thank you. I'll put that under there. All right, so Sagittarius, this is a lot like what Aries got. It's a reminder about the sustainability of your efforts. Are you remembering to refuel? Are you remembering to celebrate your wins along the way? If you're reluctant to lighten up on yourself, and there's a part of you that would judge yourself harshly if you do take a break, a voice that would call you weak or whatever, you can respond to that voice by saying that extremes are easy. Blunt force is easy, But the middle path, grace, walking a delicate line of optimization versus maximization, that's a much higher skill, a finer skill. So try that on for size as something to shoot for, over who can be the best at being fried. It also says that your best is what you can achieve without destroying yourself, not what you can achieve at the expense of everything else. So now this is for everyone, all the fire signs, for something to let go of or surrender. You have the 5 of Pentacles. So this is indicating that some of what could be driving you to overexert yourself could be a scarcity mindset. And this feeling that nothing's ever enough or that you're never enough. Like, if this really is the case in the present, that your balance sheet dictates that you put in X hours or the bills won't get paid, that's one thing. But this is more referring to the way that if you have known hard times in the past, it can be hard to unclench and believe when things do start to get better. For some, this could be about letting something go that you can't get back. In this case with Pentacles, it literally is just stuff. It's not like a person or a relationship. So it's a reminder that it is just stuff and there's plenty more where it came from. There's also a need here to surrender to the reality that you are working with a little less resource-wise, to free up your mental energy to work with creatively with what you got. Finally, if you're feeling like the odd man out or like everything is working against you, they're saying to let go of or move on from each situation that creates that quickly, because it is a sticky energy that accumulates and becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy very quickly. So for where you will see the most change, you have the 10 of Swords. So this is an energy of the final straw. Something does reach a breaking point, but the good news is sometimes that's the only way something can change, is for that bubble to burst. And it can only go up from here. The best way to move forward from here is to start over altogether with the lesson learned and just armed to do better. So I'm going to say that this represents a badly needed change, something that's been a long time coming and comes with a deep relief, even along with the discomfort. Now you know, so you can be free from worrying about it any longer. Swords are thoughts, and so for a lot of you, this is playing out entirely on the stage of your mind, the end of a thought spiral. But it can also be communication related, so this can be like the final word on something as well. So for what will be your biggest obstacle, you have the 2 of Cups, and this is kind of interesting here. There's a couple possibilities actually. So generally, this is a card of like people are delighted to see this because it represents partnership and loving connection. But as an obstacle, it can represent putting someone else's needs ahead of your own, which at times that's an admirable thing to do. But it can cross over into self-neglect if it's taken too far. The image I'm getting with a partnership as an obstacle is the old slapstick gag of 2 people trying to get through a doorway and their shoulders get stuck side by side. So there can be times in a relationship where one person's needs maybe do take more precedent, and then that can be reciprocated at some other time. Things don't have to be perfectly balanced moment to moment. So in order to get through the door, someone has to go first. Now for others, this can manifest as being too distracted by your romantic attachment or situation. That could be impairing your functioning in more pressing matters like a job or past due bills, school, what have you. So I feel this might be especially relevant to Leos who have that fulfillment card, because I'm sure smooching and spending time with your sweetie feels much more fulfilling than something else you were working towards, but have some awareness of the drug-like effect of NRE and don't give up on your goals. So for the best thing about this month, you have the 8 of Swords. So you're not likely to find yourself in any situations that you can't find a way out of if you think creatively, if you can be fluid and not too stubborn or get out of your own way. Theoretically, the easiest obstacle to defeat should be yourself. Like, you just move, right? I know good and well sometimes that's actually the hardest. But the good news is The power is all yours. It's you and your mind. So at this time, you will have options and ways out of situations. You could find freedom or peace or whatever it is that you need on the other side of a perspective change, a reframing, or like just the right meme that helps you see the foot of the path forward. You might find talking it out to be especially effective this month as well. So for your influence and impact on others, you have the Judgment card. This has been coming out a lot lately. It indicates that something about how you're showing up is serving as a wake-up call to others. This is the type of energy where something small or something that you think is small that you say to someone can alter the course of their life. Like expressing that you see potential in someone can inspire them to pursue that thing and actually realize that potential when they might not have otherwise if they didn't see it in themselves. Now, for some, this can manifest as enlisting people to join you in a project or cause. And for others, it can be calling someone out and holding them accountable. A very few of you could actually be selecting people for something, like being part of a hiring process or an academic assessment process. It's like some people could be connecting to purpose because of you, and others are meeting the consequences of their choices through you. A lot of you are serving as an inspiration of some sort. I think I already said that, but I wanted to repeat it because it's coming through strongly. Particularly inspiring someone to change their ways or to finally step onto a certain path. Hold on, that's bugging me. All right, we're moving. The whole thing's moving. That's better. All right. Anyway, for what opportunities you should be looking for, you have the Death card. See, and right under that Ten of Swords, too. So it's not only reiterating that need for something to close, but possibly indicating that these are related. So anyway, it's opportunities to let what is trying to fall away actually fall away and not cling to something that is no longer viable. And that's only going to become like a zombie-like energy in your life. In order for something new to take root and to flourish, the old needs to be cleansed away. So this is opportunities to shed something. And then being a major arcana, it could literally be anything. So it's not talking about a thought process or a relationship or physical clutter. It could be any or all of those. So you might see opportunities arise to surrender what no longer fits, what is no longer relevant, what is no longer working, or what has started to feel like dead weight that you're dragging around behind you. If you feel like you're stuck with one foot in both worlds, however that metaphor applies to you, it's going to mean opportunities to step both feet into the new and letting the portal close behind you. So for what strength to leverage, or what your superpower might be, however you want to say it, you have the Chariot. So this month you might find that you are firing on all cylinders, and this will help you access that perseverance and harness existing momentum. So your superpower this month is that you are in alignment, which it can mean a lot of things. It can mean that your head and your heart are on the same page. It can mean that each success sets you up for the next one. It can mean that the energies around you are moving in the same direction you are because your agenda is aligned with the cosmic one. So it feels like you're on one of those moving sidewalks at the airport. This can also indicate that you know when's the right time to keep pushing and not give up, not open the oven door, so to speak, and let the heat out, as they say, but to keep your eyes on the prize unflinchingly. Now, for some of you, there's an element of risk taking to the Chariot, so it can be your ability to confidently and accurately calculate risk, and that allows you to be more bold than others, and that can come with rewards. Some of you, this is your leadership ability, being a trendsetter or being on the forefront of something, which makes sense with that Judgment card because that indicates the potential for a following of some kind, being out in the front. So this is the superpower of being out in front, of getting ahead of things, of being proactive and assertive. So for your self-care directive, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Considering the context of everything that's come out so far today, the first thing I'm hearing is taking control of your own destiny. But to dig deeper, it talks about honoring cycles and finding order or stillness in the chaos. Or rather, your method for navigating chaos, like cultivating your still, calm center from where you can observe and stay balanced, like a gyroscope through life's ups and downs. This could be suggesting centering meditations or journaling to track your cycles so that you can start to work with them instead of against them, or taking your chances with them. In a few cases, this can be indicating a need to take accountability and control over a repeating cycle that you would like to break. An interesting question to ask here is, how can you make your own luck? With that Chariot is your superpower, your ability to take the reins of your fate is heightened right now. And I would say with all these major arcana that your choices have magnified power to steer the Titanic that is your life at this time. Like I was saying with the Chariot about calculated risks, keyword being calculated. So as a self-care directive, this would advise against leaving anything up to uninformed chance. So that's what I have for you, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Much love, and I'll talk to you next month. Thank you.